Good morning everybody. Good morning everyone who's joined me this morning. Not sure how many are here yet. It hasn't refreshed the number for me as yet. So good morning whoever's joined. Please say good morning, say hi, give me a wave, thumbs up, whatever it is that you'd like to do, just to let me know that you're here. I always welcome that. And for anyone who's watching this later, my name's Lynn, and we are located today in Newcastle in Australia. So hi Natasha, hi Sarah, hi Joanne, great to see you. All right, so it's 5:45 in the morning. Sunrise is expected around about 6 a.m. And yes, Happy New Year to you too, Natasha, and lovely to see you. All right, so let's turn this camera around. It's a little bit breezy, so I've got my muffle on. I do have another gadget I need to get set up with. Hi Emily, hi Annette, and Lisa, great to see everybody. And yes, Annette gave me a little gadget I need to use, but I haven't worked it out yet, Annette. I've got to do something. I might need to buy another attachment, I'm not sure. Hi Rose, said hi Lisa, didn't I? All right, let's turn this around and I'll show you where we are. Look at this. So there's our little car, there's little red beast. We are standing at the foot of Fort Scratchley, and we'll visit that another day, but some of you may remember a sculpture walk I did there a couple of years ago, and this is the pavilion for Nobby's beach. And we are here in time for sunrise this morning. I just want to try and see if I could. It was giving me lovely colours a moment ago, and now it's not. Where are those lovely colours gone? Oh well, hopefully it'll refresh and we'll see those lovely colours soon. So Nobby's beach, I'll tell you more about that as we walk along. We're going to walk along the breakwater, which is now Nobby's beach, and head out towards, you might be able to see, there is a lighthouse over there in that direction, and that line of lights is along the pier, Macquarie Pier. We're going to walk along that towards the lighthouse. That's a little bit better, look at that. And then up here we have Fort Scratchley. Alrighty. That sky's starting to look really lovely now. Hi Laurie, great to see you. And I'm going to head over this side of the pavilion. First of all, Emily says, every time you show your car, I think of the Wiggles big red car. My kids were big fans when they were younger. Oh yeah, the Wiggles. They're an institution. They're an Australian institution, taken over now by Bluey. But I think the Wiggles are still pretty huge. Like my earrings. Yeah, today I've gone for the teal blue, the turquoise colour earrings. I got those in Italy. In Sicily, in fact. Let's have a look at the earrings again. There we go. The black at the top is from the Mount Etna volcano, volcanic rock. And while you're looking at me, it's probably a good time with this row of red bins, gorgeous view. It's a good time to mention that today we are meeting, and I'd like to acknowledge we're meeting on the lands of the Awabakal. Pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Okay, let's turn this back around again. And we are also standing at the Bathers Way, which is a coastal walk. Hope all the earrings made it home with you safe. They sure did, Annette. Yep, they sure did. And most of the gifts have been distributed. Not all. There's still some we're holding back for various reasons. But most of the gifts have been distributed. So this red object is a memorial to a shipwreck that occurred on this beach. I forget the year, but it's a fairly recent one. It was the Pasha Balka, happened during a storm and wound up on this beach. I think it was a tanker. So this massive storm happened. We get them at this time of year. You might have seen the video I shared. I'm trying to get this fellow out of the way, but he's not playing ball. He's not working with me. Oh, thanks, Natasha. I try to remember to do it, and I've got to get back into the habit of doing it. So the Pasha Bulka was shipwrecked on Nobby's beach during a storm one year, not all that long ago. And this, of course, is Nobby's beach here. And let's just pause and listen to the sound of the sea for a moment. Let's also celebrate the fact that I think I've got a level skyline, a horizon, which I always seem to struggle with. There we go. So I'm going to walk along in this direction for a little while, just a short distance, and when it lightens up, I might get a better idea. I don't know if there's a plaque that gives more information. Okay, I'm hoping that this has sorted things out. I've changed the network provider that I'm with. I can see that there's only 4 people watching right now. Oh, Sarah, thank you. So yes, I did lose you all. So hopefully I'm going to get you all back. All right, so we are here at the Newcastle Pavilion. Maybe a Surf Lifesaver Club based here as well. And then you've got the lookout post for the surf club based in this building here. All right, so here we go. Here's the beautiful sky. Not sure where sunrise is going to happen, and it probably is happening right now. But I'm kind of thinking it's in this direction here. So once again, we have a bank of cloud that's obscuring the sun. So I was talking about Nobby's Head, which is where the lighthouse is located. It is pretty, isn't it, Cynthia? So Nobby's Head is where the lighthouse is located over there. That was once an island, and in the very early 1800s, coal was discovered here from the sea. So basically what happened was there were a couple of convicts that escaped the colony, and there was a search party sent out in search of them. They knew that they'd headed north, so the boats headed up along the shore and went in search of the convicts, and they saw the coal seams along the headlands here, along the cliffs. So they knew there was coal here. This was once an island. It was called Coal Island, and it was once double the size that it is now. It's around about 25 metres high. It was originally closer to 50 metres high. Great to see you back, Rose. I'm glad everyone's coming back. Oh, I'm so sorry to lose you all. I hate when that happens. So it was originally closer to 50 metres high, but the ships coming around the island to enter Hunter River were losing wind out of their sails. So someone had the bright idea to knock the top of the island off and reduce its height. All right. So it was connected at that point to land by a pier. So it was called Macquarie Pier. Lachlan Macquarie was our governor at the time, and he instructed, oh, thanks, Sarah. He instructed for a pier to be built that connected the island to the mainland. And there was actually for a time a train track that ran out along the pier. And then about, 30-40 years after that, it was decided to turn it into a breakwater, using the rock that was excavated from the island. So the top of the island was blown off, the rock was used to create a breakwater, and then just through the natural movement of the ocean, the seas, the tides, it got filled in with sand. So now we have a beach where there wasn't one previously. So you could say that it's a man-made beach. Nobby's Head in the local language is called Wibaganya. And there's now a lighthouse on top of it. And it was the third lighthouse that was built on top of, in New South Wales. The first two were in Sydney, and this is the third that was erected. There's a really nice message along this wall here, and it says, for most of the 19th century, the beach was a place of ambivalence, one hidden from the purview of respectable people, and the foolhardy were prevented from engaging in sea bathing by government regulations and social pressure. So that's been inscribed along this end of the wall. And then as we continue, I think there was more of them. Oh no, there's not. That's where it ends. We also have beach volleyball nets set up on the beach, and from here we can see, we're looking back towards Fort Scratchley on top of the hill. Fort Scratchley was built to protect the colony initially. I think we were protecting ourselves against the French, or I think it was the French. But later on in World War II, it was used as a defence post. Because we were in danger of invasion, believe it or not, because of our big steel industry up the Hunter River. Okay, so we're going to walk along the breakwater. Why don't we just walk up the top of this little hill first? It's a lovely beach. It really is, Joanne. It's really pretty. And I think there's going to be a lot of activity here on Australia Day, but I'm really struggling to find a program. Australia Day is happening the official day is next Sunday, the 26th of January. But I've spent so much time on the internet searching for any kind of program for what's happening in Newcastle. I can find 2 locations, but I can't find a program as such. So I'm really not sure, and I really want to schedule something for next weekend. Anyway, I'll see what I can do. See if I can get some more definitive information between now and next weekend. It really is, Cynthia. It's beautiful here. Some of you may remember that I was here streaming the air show at this point. When was that? That was November 2023. It's lovely, Rose. Bit of a wind up at the moment, but otherwise, yes, it's really lovely. So we did the sculpture exhibition at Fort Scratchley, which was on top of that hill. Some of you may remember the whale sculpture that took pride of place up on top of the hill there at Fort Scratchley. And we did the air show, and we've also walked along this breakwater a couple of times during previous tours. All right, let's go down and walk along it. Just need to find my way back down again. Let's go this way. I'm not taking my shoes off yet, Cynthia. I need to walk along the breakwater, and I think it might be a bit rough underfoot, so I'm leaving my shoes on for the time being. I think, can I get down there? We'll go this way. Oh, there's a barrier to protect, to hold the sand up, so I'm not sure where I can get down. Okay, let's go this way. Might be able to get down here. It's going to involve jumping. It's going to involve getting down from a high. Okay, there we go. I did it. And this building here, it's a storage shed. I think there are canoes. What did Sarah say? Just seeing Australia already warms me up with cold weather here in the UK. Oh, and Laurie, agree. So there's, I think there's canoes or some kind of watercraft stored in here. I don't know who uses it. I need to find out more about it if I'm going to talk about it, I suppose. But I really like the murals that have been painted on this wall, on this side of it. Maybe it's where they're rubber duckies. So, one of the surf life-saving craft. It's supposed to rain all next week here in Spain. Oh, Joanne, we had some really rough weather this week. I'm hoping it's all ended, all finished. So yes, I believe that the building is just something to do with the surf club, because we've got a surf lifesaver here and the rubber ducky depicted there in amongst these lovely depictions of wildlife, the kangaroos, and I'm not sure what this fellow is. Could be another kangaroo. That's a bit chilly, Laurie. Okay. And of course, whiskey. Whiskey has brought you here as well in the past. I know he's brought Brownie down to Horseshoe Beaches, which is on my left down here. Okay, so here we're going to see a few placards along the way. This one's number 10, so I don't know where the first 9 are. I've missed them somewhere. But this shows you a photograph of the railway line that used to run along the pier. Just quickly, it says, now you've completed the trip back and forth. Well, this is the last one. All right, okay, so let's look for number 1 if we can find it. Spare a thought for those who used to travel along here when the path was not so smooth. Shh, it's not smooth. I've got my shoes still on. Cynthia's going to want me to take them off. I like these interesting rocks too. Kind of looks like it doesn't belong, but maybe it was one of the ones that was blasted out of the island to make it lower. All right. So this is Horseshoe Beach on our left. This is where Whiskey brought Brownie and did a little live stream from once upon a time, a couple of years ago. And here we have the breakwater on the opposite side. So this is the entrance to the Hunter River or Newcastle Port of Newcastle. And we're to keep an eye out for dolphins. We have seen them here previously. Let's see if we get lucky again. Alright, so this is number 2. Number 2 on the trail, Guardian in Difficult Times. What does it say? Macquarie Pier was intended to shelter the port from the sea and provide a line of defence against the waves as ships entered and left the harbour mouth. It is significant to note that the pier contributed to the shelter of some of Newcastle's inhabitants and became a military line of defence which protected the interests of the country. And then it goes on to talk about the Great Depression and the living conditions in the hovels at the time. This is an aerial photograph in 1944 showing a military encampment, and then we have the shantytown depicted in 1930. So people lived along here during the Depression. All right, so we've been going for almost half an hour and I don't feel like I've got very far, have I? So let's pick up the pace a little bit. Last time I brought you along here, I think it must have been spring, there were a lot of wildflowers on the sand dunes. So none of those right now. What we have is a kind of acacia, or what we call wattle, not in flower. That comes out in around about July, August, end of winter. The sky is still looking quite pretty, but it's past sunrise, so we definitely have a big bank of cloud on the horizon that's preventing us from seeing the sun just now. But we will see it soon, I'm sure. It is possible to walk up to the lighthouse. It's only open on weekends. I don't think there's an entry charge, but there's a very steep hill and I'm not sure I'm up to it. I'm prepared to give it a go. What's down here? Bobbing around in the water. Oh, I think they're pelicans. Are they pelicans? I think they might be. Oh yes, there's about 5 pelicans just there. And we're also seeing a ship heading out of the port, being accompanied out with a couple of tugs helping it. All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit. I haven't done a walk like this for a few days and I'm starting to feel a bit stiff through the joints and hips. It's pretty cool, isn't it, Cynthia? Yeah. We've got the pelican down here. Two, in fact. And then we've got the ship there. I couldn't tell you what sort of ship it is. It's possibly a tanker. Well, it could be full of coal. I don't know. I don't know an awful lot about ships. Perhaps I better start learning. Right. And of course this breakwater now gets used for all sorts of leisure activity. Lots of jogging groups. Oh, thanks, Cynthia. Now over here on the right, I'm not sure what this is, but I think it might get used by, there is still a local Indigenous community. I wonder if they sort of meet and do what's called yarning. And yarning is basically storytelling. So that's kind of interesting. Let's get back over on the left-hand side of the path. Keep following this ship a little way. And looking back, of course, that's the city of Newcastle in that direction. If you look really closely, you can see the cathedral on top of the hill right at the centre of the picture now is the cathedral, and that's another place I intend to explore. Keeping an eye out for dolphins. Listening to the sound of the sea. Alright, we've got another information panel. What's this one about? Newcastle Harbour's history. It has two escorts. I don't know if they're tugboats or pilots or what they are, but it's got the two there, Rose. Alright, so this says, did you know that marine pilots have helped ships navigate safely through Newcastle Harbour for more than 220 years? And then there's an illustration showing Newcastle Harbour and Stockton. Stockton is the name of the community across the other bank of the Hunter River. You can get there by ferry. We might do that. We might do that for you one day. I think it's only about a 15-minute ferry ride to get from Newcastle to Stockton. I mean, we start to get an idea of the hill that needs climbing to get to the lighthouse. I'm not sure I'm up for that. When we get past this strip of vegetation, we'll be able to look out to sea on my right again. There's a great spot to stand and watch the ships. Oh, there's actually 3. Look, if there's 3, there might even be 4, I wonder. 3 little friends helping this ship out of harbour. Okay, this one talks about the shelling of Newcastle, and this was during World War II, and this is why Fort Scratchley exists. So the red dots represent exploded shells, and you can see here we're standing about there right now. There's Fort Scratchley, there's Nobby's Head. So there were this was the attack during, I've let my little muffle slip. This was the attack during World War II, when Australia came under attack. Just one of the times you may all... Oh, we do have wildflowers, sorry, squirrel. We do have wildflowers. There we go, wildflowers. Australia came under attack in Darwin as well. So the little assistants, the little companions are starting to pull away and let that ship head on out to sea. Here we go, there's 1, 2, is that 3 or 4? 3 pilots, and that ship's heading out to sea now. Trying to zoom out again. And this talks about Nobbies in general. So we've got a map of the area. We've got Nobbies before Macquarie Pier, so that's that one there. And this shows you what the island, Coal Island, would have looked like back in 1812, it says. And that's where the lighthouse is situated. Sorry, no, that's where Fort Scratchley is situated. So, yeah. And then Macquarie Pier extending halfway to Nobby's. Lots of illustrations there. Yeah, I think there's 3, Sarah, yeah. 3 tugboats or 3 pilots that helped guide this ship out of Port of Newcastle. Okay, let's have a look. This is really interesting. So someone's painted this concrete edging here to look like a lead pencil. For all my artist friends. So there we go, that's looking back towards Fort Scratchley. And I might just see if I can get a little bit of height. Just up here. Ooh. My knees hate it when I do that. There's the sun just starting to peek through the clouds. Look at that. Yes, Rose, we all hope that the ships that leave port have a safe journey indeed. How pretty. The sun's just starting to peek through the cloud there, so we know it's risen. My niece hated in sympathy for your niece. Oh, thank you, Laurie. And there's the lighthouse. I'm going to pause just a moment and see if this sun does anything more interesting. Deep relaxing here, thanks. You're welcome, Cynthia. And Helen, hi Helen. Was Newcastle named after the English one in Northumberland? Did it have a coal mining history? There is also a Newcastle where I live in Nanaimo. Is it? I never know how to say that. Nanaimo, British Columbia, and it used to have coal. Yes, it is a coal port. It is a coal port. Helen, still is. Still has a coal mining industry, and it is our biggest coal port in Australia, I believe, still. So yeah, big coal mining industry here, and in fact only a few weeks ago there was a protest. Lots of people out there on kayaks trying to stop the movements of the ships because they're protesting new coal. So yeah, big coal mining industry here in Newcastle, heavily dependent on that industry. So here we go. I think I came out the other side of that gate one time. Public access Saturday and Sunday. Visiting cruise ship days. Oh, I'll have to find out about cruise ships. I didn't know we had cruise ships in Newcastle. I thought it was all industrial. I'll have to see what I can find out about that. There's another little pelican just out there. Well, not so little really, are they? Okay. We've been going for 41 minutes and I will get just past the lighthouse. I don't think I'll go all the way to the end of the breakwater. Let's see how we're going for time though. Maybe I can do it. There's a lot of driftwood along the shore here. I'm not sure if the waves that we're getting here are actual swell or just wash from that ship that passed through the heads a little while ago. So we're coming up to the lighthouse and you can see this is the sand. This is the sand that got washed onto the breakwater naturally as a result of just normal weather events. It's become a sand hill. In fact, the path here is completely covered by sand. Let these people pass before I Look at this sign.
Yeah.
All right, so this is talking about the saltbush, and this is the plant that's growing all along here. This is a South African saltbush, and it came to Australia in ballast, so in the hulls of ships, and it's actually not a welcome plant, even though it is holding the sand dune together. This talks about the impact of saltbush, or bitu bush in actual fact. So it says 30 years before Newcastle was attacked by sea in 1942, another war on our environment and rich coastal biodiversity had already begun with the arrival of bitu bush, one of the most invasive and damaging weeds to enter Australia. So there we go. This is about this plant here that dominates the sand dune. We have a couple of little magpie friends. Oh, good morning, guys. Are you going to warble for us? I'd love to hear you warble. And you may have heard of magpies attacking. They only do that in nesting season. Cynthia says we have kudzu here. I have heard of that. I've heard of that, Cynthia. Yeah, so they talk about magpies swooping, and they can be quite dangerous. I mean, their beaks are very sharp, but apparently they do remember up to 100 faces, and they only swoop during breeding season. It's recommended that you try and make friends with your local magpies. There's a kayaker heading out. What are you eating, birdie? They would be looking for little beetles and worms and that type of thing. They're meat eaters. This one here, I won't stop and read this one. It's talking about protecting the port. Laurie, yeah, nice one. I totally agree. Laurie says, we have billionaires, worst invasive species ever. Over in the distance there you might be able to see the Stockton Bridge, which is a huge bridge that gets really high. Sarah says, hi magpies. Get some great views from the top of the Stockton Bridge as you're driving over there towards Nelson Bay. And then to the left of that there's, I think it's one of our power stations, where you can see the well, if it's a power station, it's steam, it's not smoke, but I'm not sure what exactly that operation is. Again, another thing I need to learn more about. And Joanne says they have a much better memory than me. Yeah, you and me both, Joanne. All right, so we've been going for just over 45 minutes. I think we'll save walking to the end of the pier for another day because my legs are starting to feel it. And once we get round the end of the Nobby's head, we're going to see where the sun is and the top end of the beach. It's really pretty from here. I think this will be far enough for us today, and I can turn back, take you with me back to the car. We'll head out to the end of the breakwater another time. It's a shame Andre doesn't join our tours anymore. I remember bringing him here. He was the one in the Netherlands who is really interested in geology, and I can remember showing him when these ladies move by. Do animals live in the invasive bush? Not really. Nesting birds maybe, but that's about it. So we looked up there with the help of this informative panel, and it talks about its volcanic past and the different layers of rock that form the cliffside or the hillside here. So there's coal and shale and sandstone beneath that. And then there's a basalt dike. There we go. So anyone who's interested in layers of rocks and geology, that's what we're looking at there. So it's still a fair way, as you can see, out to the end of the breakwater, and we're not going to do that today. But we will have a look at what the sky's doing, because I think it's getting really pretty right now. And there's that ship heading south, this one is. Oh, look at that. How pretty is the sky right now? Beautiful. So it's just a little bit soft underfoot here in the sand, so there we go. Let's go just a little further and we can look back along the beach. Now, I don't know where Richard is. He is here somewhere. He was debating whether or not to go for a swim. So I don't know if he decided to in the end or not. There's no surf patrol on the beach as yet. So it's a bit early for lifeguards to be out. Okay, we're going to see that ship just come between those rays of sun. Did you hear me say, oh wow? Yeah, I did, Cynthia. Probably at the same time as I said it. There we go. Lovely sky, beautiful sound of the sea. And this for us is, how long did it take us? It took us 15 minutes to get here from our house. So this is how close we live to this amazing place. We feel blessed. There's Nobby's head. And there we go. Could I ask you a going live question about YouTube? Sure, I'll try and help if I can, Rose. I'll do my very best. Go for your life. Helen asks, how long have you been back in Australia? It must feel good after your extensive travels. We've been back since the 5th of January. So what's that? Today's the 20th. Just over 2 weeks. And Laurie says, I take it this isn't a swimming beach, no surf lifesavers. Well, I think there's a line of rocks out there you might be able to see, so it's not particularly safe. You might see board riders out here, and really I think it's a case of you take your own risk if you swim here. There's that ship just going through now. How do you get the chat to not show on the picture? Is it showing on the picture for you now? That's a really good question, Rose, because I'm doing this through an app. I'm doing this through Prism, and it should be off to the side if you're watching it through YouTube. You should be able to see. I don't know if anybody else can help you. Today's the 20th here, Cynthia. Right now, it's Monday the 20th. For you guys, it might still be the 19th, but I arrived in Australia on January the 5th in Australian time. No, for myself doing a live stream. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm not sure I know the answer to that because I like to see the chat. Sorry, I just coughed right into the microphone. My apologies for that. That wasn't very good, was it? I'll see if I can find out for you, Rose. But I struggled for so long to use Prism in the first place. I'm not sure. I would be just Googling. So my chat is fine. Yeah, okay. I understand what you're getting at now. So if you're using Prism, there's a swipe left and swipe right where you can add things and remove things from the screen. And I know that one time I did add a second chat inadvertently, so it was showing on the screen. You could possibly try that. Do a couple of practices, so you're doing it without an audience, and see if it's something along those lines. I know that when you're live streaming, you can swipe your screen left or right and get other features. Laurie says, I remember when you started, we had a few where we were seeing it across the top. Yeah, and I think that's what it was. I think it was adding another feature, and I didn't want it there. Rose says, I have a friend just started doing lives on YouTube, and her first live had the chat on the screen.
How long does it go for?
I think it's going to be app dependent, Rose. And I think if she's using something like Streamlabs, was it Streamlabs? I started using that originally, and then I stopped using it because I had other issues. But I think Streamlabs was doing that, and that was a real pain. In fact, I was getting latent chat messages from previous streams still. Welcome back to Oz. I just swiped down on my phone and chat went away. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be one of those things, Rose, where unfortunately I don't have an answer for you because it's going to depend on the app and settings, which she's just going to have a play with it. I'm so sorry I can't give you a definitive answer on that. Alrighty, we're going to head back. I'm getting a transmission warning again, a signal warning again, which is weird because we've just walked along here, just going back the opposite way, that's all. Sarah says you have to turn your phone and then tap the X to remove the chat. Yeah, no problem at all. I wish I could have been more help, Rose. Sorry I wasn't able to help more. Sand is really soft on the path here. It's incredible how much there is. So I wonder if the cafe's open now, back where we parked the car at the pavilion. Be nice to get a coffee after this. All this sand walking, it's good exercise, but it does make your legs very weary.
Yeah.
All right, so this evening, for anyone who is, I know it's a bit of an unfriendly time for some of us, but I'm doing a YouTube premiere, which is presenting a recording from Hago of the Sydney Botanic Gardens, where we visited the succulent garden. Look at that. Richard says, did you say coffee? Yeah, okay. Sarah, this is a different chat, I think, like when we had two. Okay. So, and hi Lauren, how are you? Great to see you. All right, so Richard, I take it you're sitting at the pavilion. Is the cafe open? It wasn't when I walked past earlier. We did not say coffee. I suppose you all want me to share my coffee, do you? You want me to share my coffee with you? Well, I guess Richard's going to have to order it. I'm still a good 10 minutes away though. Well, you can see where I am. Just coffee, not breakfast. We'll have breakfast when we get back home, Laurie. Being seniors and on a budget and all that, we'll have breakfast when we get back home. We'll have a good breakfast, but we won't pay for the privilege. Cynthia says it's almost dinner time here. Yeah, and I guess for you guys in the US and Canada and in the Americas, my premiere is probably at a really unfriendly time for you, so I apologise for that. Sometimes I just have to do things that work in with my time and my schedule, but you can always catch up with it later. And on Wednesday morning, same time, so Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, your time, we'll be doing Where Am I Wednesday from another location in Newcastle. But considering the time of day, it will be, of course, at daybreak, with anticipation of the sunrise. Helen says, I miss Hago so much. That's why I look forward to your live stream so much. Thank you, Helen. And that was my intent. And I don't mention it every time, but that was my intent in creating the calendar as well, and for keeping Bev's community in Going Places Virtually Facebook group alive, because it's the community that keeps it together. I can only do so much on my own as an individual streamer, but if we come together collectively as a group, we strengthen the community. So I might harp on sometimes about sharing the community with your friends, and encouraging the other guides to share the calendar as well. So 2:45 p.m. for me, having afternoon coffee. Well done, Rose. We can coffee together. All right, I'm getting another signal warning again. You just can't pick it. You really can't pick it. It comes and it goes. But I'm hugging against the wind, and here we can see. What are the yellow flowers? I actually don't know what they're called, but let's get a close look at them. And I might be able to use Google Lens or something later, or you guys can. It's just back here. There's a bunch of them. Okay, let's get in as close as I can to one of them. But they seem to thrive here on the sand dunes. Okay. There we go. Did you get a good look at it, that one? So see if you can have a look via Google Lens or the Photos information app if you're using an Apple device. I really love that feature. You can just tap on it and it will look for similar images. Alright, 7:45 here in the UK. They are pretty, aren't they? Yeah, but I have no idea what they're called. Some clever person will come up with the answer for us. And here's that species flower colour yellow. Cynthia, well done. Flower looks like a wild rose, but the leaves look like a succulent. Yeah, a little. But they definitely thrive in the sand dune. There's that thing again. Alright, I am going way over time. It's gone over an hour now. Let me see if I can... Alright, so somehow I've managed to get rid of the chat from my screen. That's really not what I... So Rose, for me it was just as simple as swiping right in that case. Helen says it's a bit like Onothera, but the leaves don't look the same. Someone clever will come up with an answer. Oh, look where the pelicans are now. Look, here we go. 4 there and 1 out in the water. And I've just got a battery warning too. You're late. Just got a battery warning, so I'm not sure I'm going to make it back to the pavilion with you guys. I'm going to try. Let's pick up the pace. It's a very brisk wind at the moment. That's what the sky is doing. A beautiful day. We've got more unpacking to do. What else are we doing today? I think we need to figure out our energy provider today. Oh look, here comes Richard. I thought you had a coffee ordered. Helen says, I'm not clever, but Google says Onothera lacernata or cut-leaved evening primrose. It's too late, we've already seen you. And Laurie says, seems like signal is better on ocean side than land side of walk. Yeah, you could be right. But this is Horseshoe Beach right here. There we go. And getting that signal message popping in and out. Excuse me, this time I moved the microphone away. All right, guys, I think we're going to make it back to the cafe. I got a low battery warning. All right, so I think we'll finish up because I'm not confident that the battery's going to hold out and I'm still getting this low signal warning again. So let's turn the camera around and finish up, everyone. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining me here at Nobby's Head this morning. What a gorgeous morning it was. I hope you enjoyed it, and we are going to hope for a similar morning on Wednesday morning. I did have tech issues. Yeah, I did, Laurie. It was difficult right at the beginning there. I don't know why. Probably because I was standing beneath Fort Scratchley. But anyway. And Rose says, thank you, Lynn. Wonderful walk. You're very welcome, everyone. So I will see you all again this evening for a YouTube premiere or on Wednesday for another early morning walk. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Yeah, you had some tech issues at the start.
Oh,
Did you ask?